Welcome, my beautiful souls. So, today, it isn't about a prediction. Today, we're doing what I call a spiritual debrief. So, imagine yourself sitting down with your spirit guide after everything you've been through and asking one question. Tell me what you, spirit, has been doing behind the scenes on my behalf. And what we're doing is we're going right to the cards. We're asking specific questions to find out exactly what's been happening behind the scenes and what your guides want you to know today. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. Just bring the lid down. And everything is pre-shuffled. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with question one. Question one. What lessons was I or am I, or let me put it a different way. What lessons have been hidden from me and potentially why? So let's begin. Oh, the Ace of Pentacles. Something coming into your physical world. Interesting. I have a feeling the timing wasn't right yet. Yet. The Queen of Swords. I don't really read them as people at this table, but it can be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I have a feeling it has been about finding your voice, your truth. When I think of the Queen of Wands, I think of someone who sets clear boundaries, not walls, boundaries of truth. But first, I have to know my own truth. Six of Swords. So, what was the lesson? Toxicity. Other people. Other people getting in your way. Other people potentially blocking this blessing. Why? Well, when I think of toxicity, I think of potential jealousy. Like why is that ace coming in for you and not for me? Well, because you're ready. What this tells me is what was hidden, or maybe what I wasn't telling myself is that there were toxic people and toxic energy. Sometimes it can be our own thought system. But I really feel like this is about moving away from, let's just say, lower vibrational energy. And chances are it's because you're evolving. The Ace of Pentacles wouldn't show if you weren't ready. And it does feel like it's bringing something or someone into your life. But it feels like you had, I feel like with the Queen of Swords, like I had to know my own truth, my own voice. And if you notice all the beautiful white doves around her, I don't feel this is someone who is screaming and yelling. It's just, I know my truth now. I know the truth. And I'm no longer allowing other people to get in my way. The Ace of Pentacles wants to come in. And I definitely feel it will come in. But it may be waiting again for the right timing. What has been toxic in your life? Who doesn't believe in you? Who tells you you can't, you won't? This is you saying, well, watch me. Just watch me. So for some of you, it's really gaining that inner power. It feels like it opens the door. Okay. Second question. What challenges have I graduated from? What challenges have I graduated from? Look at that, the tower. That makes sense. Justice. Seven of Cups. I'm going to slide these over a little bit. Give us a little bit more room. So, we have the Seven of Cups mirroring justice. Justice is about making you whole again. So I feel like graduation, yes. Some of you had to learn to use the sword of justice. Remember, this sword is a gift. And sometimes, it can be our own thought system, but it does represent something that's unbalanced. And by using the sword, it gives you that balance and potentially opens something up where the ball is put in your court, something emotional. I feel like what you have been overcoming are the towers, but the towers are endings. And the towers, though it is destruction, it feels like destruction. It's also sometimes a lot of resistance. Like you may have felt a lot of resistance, like, why do I keep feeling that way? Something was meant to end. This toxicity you're not meant to live in anymore. Like you've graduated from it. And that is your power now. Like these towers should really have no effect in your future other than what I have learned. What I have learned. Some of you had to use that sword maybe to literally cut someone out of your life. But again, they wouldn't be serving your present nor your future. So, okay, then what blessings are entering? The Six of Pentacles, compassion, empathy, give and take. This may be something that has not been happening. Things have not been fair. You may have been very compassionate, not receiving it back. This is the lesson, but this is also the blessing of it. The Hermit, the wise old soul, all that spiritual wisdom, everything you have learned along the way. And now, you can just call yourself the wise old soul because this person is sharing their wisdom with the rest of the world. Now, it doesn't have to mean like I do something for the whole world, even if it's one person. But the truth is, this is you. This is you in a very beautiful light, is what I feel. Oh my gosh. Well, hello, Two of Cups. So, what blessing is entering? Now we know why the tower, for some of you, may have felt like a lot of push and pull. Nothing could ever be satisfied. There was never ever a solution. Maybe there wasn't meant to be. Maybe I've given my energy and my time. I don't want to say to the wrong person because everything teaches us. And that's really what this reading is about. Like, what have I been learning? And what is Spirit doing behind the scenes? This Ace of Pentacles, we now know for some, soulmate energy, love. And I love that it's mirroring the Hermit. Now, the Hermit is a card of Virgo. But I feel like what this is saying is we have two souls who are spiritually aligned to each other. We have two souls, and we have many souls. I'm just saying two souls. But we have two souls who have had so much spiritual growth and maybe are now just starting to realize that. Well, thank you, Spirit. And by the way, this isn't like free will. This isn't like a weekend. this feels like potentially for the rest of your life. Some of you may have met someone in 2025. I just feel like I had to throw that out there for some reason. Well, the Hermit represented 2025. But what I'm really feeling is the spiritual growth that you've had from dealing with this toxic energy, feeling this resistance, but using that sword, right? Cutting ties, even if they're your thoughts. I feel like some of you have learned that as it relates to love, it needs to be an equal give and take. There is no way that your guides would tell you that you are meant to carry the weight of a relationship, not this type of love. So, for many, love. Okay. So, what do I still misunderstand? Past heartache. Why it had to happen. Why did it happen to me? What did it teach me? That's really the question. What did I learn from this? Was I accepting less? Maybe just because I wanted someone in my life? Oh my. Hello, Ten of Cups, House of Harmony, House of Love. I love the Hermit shining his beacon of light right over this beautiful House of Love. Oh my gosh. The Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups mirroring the Ten of Cups. The Three of Swords in between. What have I been learning? What am I misunderstanding? Love. And I swear I did not want this to be a love reading, but I put it in the hands of our God, so clearly they did. But when I say a love reading, I feel like it's really more about you understanding that the people of the past, the people who did break your heart, things probably felt unfair, definitely unbalanced. And I feel like what it is about is really learning to truly let it go. I don't feel love is something that you have to fight for. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm asking spirit. What do I mean by that? Well, if I see a pattern of the same thing happening over and over again, I may want to check my own energy. I may be accepting less than I deserve. But listen, I feel like a lot of you now realize that. Hopefully, you're heading this direction. I feel like I gotta let go so that I can love again. What are you misunderstanding? That just because love of the past didn't work out, it doesn't mean love is impossible. It doesn't mean it won't work out with the next person. And again, I feel like because the Hermit's lantern is illuminating the Ten of Cups, it feels very clear. This is about trusting your intuition. How beautiful we have the Ace of Cups right next to the Two of Cups. I mean, hello. And first, the toxic energy is gone because this is us in the Six of Swords moving on. So this, well, I want to say hasn't happened yet. Doesn't mean you didn't know him or you don't know him. That's a potential. But for others, you may meet in a, hmm, I feel like in a special way, like in a way that I can't deny it. There's probably going to be chemistry, but it's not even the chemistry. We have the soulmates mirroring the hermit, and that is my wise old soul. But because it's mirroring the two of cups, that means both are in pretty much the same vibrational energy. This is illuminating your Ten of Cups. Let go of the past because look what wants to enter. Okay. So, what should I stop worrying about? Well, I feel like we already have that answer, but we'll continue. The moon. Um, the first thing I'm picking up is, sometimes we want the answer of where something's going to end up before it really even had a chance to start. The moon, to me, it's very dreamy energy, but it's also being comfortable in the unknown, the exploring. You know what I mean? Exploring new love, the dreaminess of it. By the way, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. Hello, Ace of Cups again. I mean, can I not do a reading about love? I don't know. I don't know. And then the Page of Swords. So, this is what Spirit wants you to stop worrying about, the uncertainties. I feel like Spirit's saying, which I've been saying a lot lately, like you hold the pen and the paper. You are writing the chapter. You will be writing the Ten of Cups. And that is why it's so important to let go of yesterday, yesteryear. And, sometimes we got to be comfortable being in the present moment and allowing what wants to come or open up to allow to open up. Because I keep going back to that Ace of Pentacles. I feel it wants to come in. And I know what is carrying. Okay. So, what does Spirit want to leave you with today? The Seven of Pentacles. Plant those seeds. Plant those seeds. It's mirroring the Ace of Pentacles. Put those intentions out there. Seven of Pentacles is like your tree of life. It reminds me of the wheel, your destiny. These are the seeds that have been planted. And its first message is patience, but it's so a seed can come to fruition, so it can be ripe. Well, we already have the seed, so to speak. And seven is really spiritual completion. Three of Swords. And interesting, the Three of Wands. I feel like I am either going to remain in the Three of Swords or I'm going to move into the Three of Wands, which is optimism, which is living in the present moment. And that is what our spirit guides always ask. Live in the present moment. So when I send the sign, you clearly see it. And this is trusting in divine timing. This is someone who, like, they're just going to do their thing. And when this enters, it enters. They're not going to put worry around it because you don't need it. 33, the mastering of love. And I feel like, this type of reading is pretty clear that I probably learned a lot in the Three of Swords, in the Towers. And mainly what I learned is what I do not want. I now know what I deserve. I'm not going to accept less. I don't need to. Especially if you've been really working on yourself, your spirituality, which is what it's really showing. Give and take. I feel like that was off balance. And now this is potentially rebalancing that. But a lot of it is due to your own energy with the support of your guides. Wow. I didn't expect love to be so strong. But here it is. Let's look at the bottom of the decks. There's that Six of Pentacles again. So that has been a lesson. Hello, Magician. The Manifester. What do you want to manifest today? And by the way, we're in the year of the Magician, and it's mirroring the Seven of Pentacles, your tree of life. Knight of Wands. Passion rushing in. Some of you may feel like you get swept off your feet. But listen, I want you to understand something, because as soon as I said that, I felt caution, because that is not how love always shows up. There'll be a recognition. I mean, your soulmates. Your soulmates. And because we have the Ten of Cups, this may be the last love of your life, but the greatest love of your life also. So, if Spirit could say anything to you today, they would say, let go of the hurt and the pain. Try to understand it. And sometimes, because I definitely feel lower vibrational energy, yet that's what I was learning from. And move my energy into optimism, trusting in divine timing. That's what brings in this ace, that brings in the soulmates, that brings in the Ace of Cups, that turns into the Ten of Cups, and then the Ace of Cups again. So it's not like we lose this love. I also feel for some, it's been about communication, using your voice, but not in a mean way, but in a, I now know what I deserve. I now know what it is I want. You have to know what you want. And by the way, a lot of times the way we figure that out is by going through what we now know we do not want. This is short and sweet, but holy cow. Holy cow. And I'm going to let it be because this is from Spirit. So I don't want to trample all over it. I feel like it is very clear. So I'm going to let that be. I love you guys. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. By the way, this is my new favorite way to read because, boom, going right to Spirit. Each question, boom, right to Spirit. And this is what Spirit wants to leave you with. Seven of Pentacles, your tree of life. But also plant those seeds and then let go of, you can have some control, but let things happen in divine timing. I don't feel like I need to do anything here other than to clear the past, and the rest just seems to open, especially for those who really feel like you have learned a lot spiritually. Like streetwise. You may be book smart, but you're also street smart, spiritually smart. And this is what's opening up these blessings. I mean, I'm a little blown away, but I'm not. But I'm going to leave you with that and just say, I love you. I thank you. Your spirit teams love you and thank you. Pay attention to the signs. This Ace of Pentacles. Remember, that something is coming into your physical world. It's already on your tree of life. I feel like just, I want to say get ready, but I don't feel like you have to get ready. This is the type of energy where I feel like you'll just be at the right place at the right time, and that's that. The rest is in Spirit's hands. But they're watching over you. They are watching over you. I love you. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.